Long, long ago, in a faraway land, was a land known to no one, no life force, no anything, until four people on a quest for knowledge and wisdom of who they are and what their life meant, decided to make that land their home.
This land is really spacious, and I think we should build on this land. What do y'all think?
I think that this is a good place to build a home too.
I totally agree. We have a lot of land to work with.
Looks like we found our home.
The four on this quest names were Germaine and Ashley Starr, along with Gary and Kayla Hermit, that were all recently married while carrying only everything they own on their backs. They were from a very sacred land. This sacred land was called the Sacred Land of Hearts. They all wanted to know what it was like to live a life outside of that land. So they built a small town in that unknown land that they all called the Land of Taroc. Germaine and Ashley started a family and built from the ground up with what little they had for resources. The land was quite big, but because it was so few of them, they only utilized a small portion of that space. Dreaming of the day they could grow it into a place everyone wanted to live. The family of 2 grew to a family of 7, with Germaine and Ashley having 5 boys: Aries, Taurus, Leo, Pluto, and Uranus. All the boys had different responsibilities, with Aries being the most responsible one, since he was the oldest. The parents, Germaine and Ashley, were very curious people and discovered that during their quest for knowledge that they were from a specific soul family. They were the most caring people and loved their home and family deeply. They were also very generous with other lands, with the limited resources they had. They learned of their soul path right before discovering the Land of Taroc from their former teacher, Archangel Michael, who was a spiritual being and their guardian as a group. But Ariel had her own personal guardian angel and guide, because she never got her bigger wings and she needed more assistance on this part of her journey. Archangel Michael approached them right before they discovered the Land of Taroc to inform them of who they are and what they were chosen to do and why, and also to remind them of their assignment.
I'm sure you noticed a pattern growing up with your classmates. You all were purposely grouped together because you are from the same soul family. Soul Family 6. You were all created, and the land you are about to discover will be rich and bring great things. Your land will become a great nation and well respected.
Remember, you all are angels, and the longer you are in human form, the more you are challenged. Start a family and nurture them. You were meant to do so.
Right after they took on human form, Priest Most High married them as couples, and they took human names instead of using the names they were created with. Except Germaine, he kept his name and spelled it different. Germaine and Ashley, giving up their names as Saint Germain and Ariel until their assignment ends, did just that. They started and raised a family of boys. Aries, the oldest son, had a heart full of passion, was fearless, and a natural-born leader. Taurus loved finer things and beauty, but was very practical and dependable when you needed him to be. Leo was fierce and confident, like his brother Aries, but loved living his life to the fullest instead of just living and being in charge at home. Uranus was the thinker and innovator of the family, always thinking of a more simpler way to do things for the benefit of self and others. And Pluto was the mysterious child and the youngest. He's very compassionate and empathetic towards others despite the mystery. In another city, in the Land of Taroc, was another family from the same soul family. The family had 5 girls, the same age as Aries, Taurus, Leo, Uranus, and Pluto. They had 5 girls and their names were Sag, April, August, Venus, and June. Their parents were Gary and Kayla Hermit. They were very quiet souls and also good friends from the Sacred Land of Hearts and from the same soul family. They were also married the same day as Germaine and Ashley Starr on their quest. They often visited in each family's town to help their children grow and evolve from one another. The parents of each family learned from each other as well, and the families became closer. Since there were more families migrating from the Sacred Land of Hearts from Soul Family 6, they all migrated to the Land of Taroc to be with their soul group. There were also other lands among them that had other soul families migrate, but they lived different from Soul Family 6, but sacred just the same. One night while everyone was asleep, Ashley received a message to prepare her family for great destruction to come across the land in waves from an angelic being.
This destruction will happen in series over time. Prepare your family and the town for it as much as possible and as soon as possible.
During the same time, Aries and Sag were courting and he asked for her hand in marriage, and she happily replied,
Yes, yes, I'll marry you!
Ashley held off on telling her boys right away what happened because of Aries' great news to wed, but she shared the news with Germaine.
I had a celestial being come to me before I fell asleep last night. I was told that there would be a great destruction to our land over time. We should prepare.
What? We can't share this information yet, but we'll prepare like a drill without getting people worked up.
I agree.
And they planned accordingly without revealing a lot to the boys about what was going to happen in an unknown time. Because there were so many people in the land now, a certain order and laws had to be put in place, especially with the news Ashley received from the angelic being. After the wedding ceremony for Aries and Sag, another ceremony took place, crowning them the Emperor and Empress of the land that will be the authority figures in control of people out of order and lay down the law in the Land of Taroc. Ashley and Germaine passed their crowns to their oldest son Aries and his new wife Sag. Later that year, Taurus asked April to marry him, and she happily said,
Yes, yes, I will marry you. I love you.
They had been courting as long as Aries and Sag and loved one another very much, so within the week, they too were married and crowned to the own town in the Land of Taroc called the Land of Coins, where they created the life they wanted, but still preparing for a destruction that wasn't visible to the naked eye, and one they still weren't told about in full. The town of Coins was filled with items created by citizens that were considered luxury items, with Taurus and his new wife, April, overseeing what comes in and out of that town and what could be sold there. Anyone that was anyone wanted to live in the Land of Coins. Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine, along with Lady Kayla and Lord Gary, with Aries and wife Sag, lived in this prestigious living establishment. Uranus was responsible for how everything was built concerning all construction in every town. Many lived in his town as well because he had such a brilliant mind. Although Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine gave up their crowns, they still are the most powerful in the land, and work in secret with Archangel Michael, their childhood teacher, to ensure everyone's safety, including the Emperor and Empress. Lady Ashley cloaked all the wardrobes of her family and their crowns to protect them from dark entities without them even knowing it. Although the Emperor and Empress have gifts, their gifts are intensified with the cloak of Lady Ashley. She especially wanted to keep an eye on her son Taurus because he oftentimes got distracted by money and greed, and dark entities look for a way in that way.
Son, be careful with your obsession with money and material goods. The line can get thin and dark forces can find their way in.
Ma, I don't have an obsession. Trust me. I do what I do for our family and the good of our land. That's it.
All right, son. I trust you.
Lady Ashley decided to cloak the entire Land of Taroc with her magic to cover the entire land and her family. Lord Germaine was ordered by Archangel Michael to go undercover to other towns and cities to investigate their behaviors, to see if dark entities had come into those cities as an unknown citizen or taken over the bodies of citizens. Lady Ashley made him appear as a citizen, and Lord Germaine took the sword made by his son to detect darkness in the land by any man, animal, or thing. Because Lady Ashley could see and have visions through any mirror or reflection, she was able to track Lord Germaine. Plus, she could be in many places at one with her teleportation. She often used owls to keep watch and report to her a threat or danger in the land. One particular night, in the town of Coins, an unknown figure or dark entity appeared in Lady Ashley's vision, and before it could find a source or body to hide in, she destroyed it immediately. She never told her family she received a message directly from an angelic being, other than to Lord Germaine, that there would actually be a destruction from dark entities. She only shared to always
Be ready for anything! And stay alert.
The town of Fire was governed by Leo and his new wife, August. They wedded weeks before accepting their leadership roles in town. They were crowned from their parents, just like their other siblings that were married before them. The town was created beautifully, and there were so many warm-hearted people that lived there, and the town was so welcoming. Leo and August made sure that every town and city had supplies to cook and stay warm with by keeping wood stock. All all over the land, and they used all the nights in the town to get it done more quickly. Lady Ashley was having visions about what happened prior to incarnating about the great war that happened in the land of Sacred Hearts, and who were responsible for that war. And intuitively, she felt Lucifer and his sister Lilith could be responsible for the dark entities appearing randomly in the Land of Taroc, but could not prove it yet. Lady Ashley is waiting on an update from Lord Germaine on his findings, but in the meantime, she worked with all the pages in every town and city to prepare them for the unknown and put a plan together with all the leaders to cover their homes and everything they built. The town of Fire was also known for their great passions and desires. Most of the citizens that lived in town were very driven and optimistic about making their home lives better and those around them better as well. In a way, Lady Ashley felt more at home in the town of Fire because she's usually led by her passions, and the town of Fire is full of passion. The town of Cups was probably the most creative land to live in, and the place where a lot of things were created and made. Pluto and his wife June, newly married, managed all the ins and outs of this town. They married weeks before they were crowned for their duties in the town of Cups. They worked perfectly together in managing day-to-day activities, but they lacked the skills of the Emperor, Aries, and the Empress Sag when it comes to detecting dark entities in the environment, but very intuitive when it came to people's emotions. Lady Ashley knew all too well what the capabilities were of dark forces and how far they would go to tap into the energies of the weak at their most vulnerable state, especially through a town full of water that many drank from. Empress Sag ordered the pages that were old enough to be out at night to take turns watching all the main sources.
I'm ordering a night watch in every town from all the pages in all the towns that are old enough to be up late, taking turns if needed to protect this land from anything that looks out of the ordinary.
You think you can help round them up?
Yes, Empress Sag.
Empress Sag also ordered a watch team for the entire Land of Taroc during the day and night. She had her suspicions, and so did Aries. There were more petty disagreements and arguments in the town of Cups to make everyone suspicious. Too many to count when it's very peaceful in other towns. Lord Germaine astro-projected a message to Lady Ashley.
There are troubles in other lands, but I cannot go into details where I am. A messenger owl is on the way with a message from me.
Aries and Sag are now coming up with a plan to protect the townsmen from themselves, especially in the town of Cups. The Emperor, Aries, and Empress Sag decided to have Uranus and his wife Venus develop a tool that could detect poison in all the towns before any water could be used in any way to protect everyone there. They temporarily built a small area for each family on the outside of the Land of Taroc in tents and borrowed bare necessities from other towns until everything had been tested and cleared for living. It took a few days, but everything was tested and cleared for living. There was a leadership meeting being held in the town of Swords. The town of Swords is the town where all the structural plans and all the weapons are created by Uranus and his wife Venus. They had been married a while, but recently stepped in their leadership role together in the town of Swords. Aries and Sag called a meeting alerting everyone that they would need all hands on deck or younger pages to volunteer for training in the field with Aries and Lady Ashley in case there would be an invasion in any of the towns. They wanted to be prepared as much as possible for the unknown due to the unsettling message that Lady Ashley received from Lord Germaine. Lady Ashley took other measures to get information quicker by sending all her owl connections into each town that Lord Germaine had not been yet, and sent a telepathic message to him to come home so he could help prepare an army. Somehow, Lady Ashley and Sag both knew that something was coming. They gathered up all the queens and had them prepare all the female pages to help the wounded, along with Lady Kayla and Lord Gary, who were very good at healing work. Lady Ashley did a head count in every town and asked Uranus to create a weapon that detects dark forces to sell to every family that wanted it to protect their homes and families. A really big decision needed to be made from the Emperor and Empress at this point, and that was if they wanted to ask for help from allied soul families to take down dark forces together, or to try this individually as a town and land. It was risky asking for help because the talk of the town was that dark forces had already reached other lands, and if we asked for help, would that dark force be among them? And would we be calling in the dark forces? Lady Ashley thought.
Maybe we should wait to make that decision after Lord Germaine returns.
But it was the Emperor's and Empress's decision. Lord Germaine arrived back in the Land of Taroc, along with the messenger owl with intel from other lands. But before he had returned, the Emperor and Empress had already decided to come together with the other soul families to meet about the darkness that caused subtle changes in each town's environment. What Lord Germaine and the messenger owl had to say was devastating, to say the least. Each soul family were plotting to destroy the other soul families, working with them up close, learning the ins and outs of each land to overthrow them, to prove that their soul family was the best, and stroke their egos at the same time. Soul Family 6 was not about to let that happen. Aries and Sag traveled by chariot to meet in the middle in another land, and of course, Lady Ashley was going to make her presence known.
Go
by
and
sending
report
a messenger
back to
out
me.
to watch, and she see through the eyes of the owl, while Lord Germaine traveled with them. Someone had to stay in the Land of Taroc to protect the land from invaders, and no one could really do that better than Lady Ashley. She had eyes everywhere. Once everyone arrived in the middle, they rested a day and met the next morning to talk about a strategy to protect each land from dark force invasions. Aries and Sag seemed to be the most concerned about the darkness that was plaguing their land, but most other families were there to see how they could work together with each soul family to gain financial wealth in each land. Aries replied,
Each land is doing very well financially, so why would we need to combine everything now? When the biggest issues are the fighting and the arguments that have increased over all the lands that seem to be unsettling.
In other soul families' eyes, those fights meant nothing. Greed was starting to consume them, and at this point, the meeting was over for Aries and Sag.
We are on our own in how we can protect our land from chaos.
I agree.
But our neighboring lands were starting to have great influence over Soul Family 6 and their land. Arguments and fights began to grow stronger and stronger in all the lands, causing action to be made right away. Lady Ashley made it a point to find the source of the problem. These dark forces weren't coming from out of nowhere, and she felt that intuitively. Before making the Land of Taroc their home, Lady Ashley thought back to the time when they were about to move there very vaguely. She remembers Archangel Michael saying,
Because the vibration of this land is so dense, you may not remember who you were and all of your abilities. You may not remember your real name. Your old life may feel like a dream. You'll have to call on spirit to get the answers you seek. You will still have your gifts and can use them, but you will have to have an inner knowing inside of you on how to use them properly.
Lady Ashley was ready to try anything at this point to protect her land. She called on spirit and asked,
Can you reveal to me the unseen that was seen in a previous time and space to protect my land, our land?
Spirit heard her loud and clear and showed her only what she should see right now.
You shall see, my child.
She saw that she was a natural-born warrior that moves with great determination, and now she was ready to put a plan together with Lord Germaine, Aries, Taurus, Uranus, and Pluto. Lady Ashley asked Lady Kayla to work with all the queens, April, Venus, June, August, and the Empress Sagas on preparing all the female pages for battle, and Lord Gary, along with Lord Germaine, to work with all the male pages. Lady Ashley worked with the knights for battle. The town didn't have much time to prepare, but did what they could. Lady Ashley is the magician, so she cast a spell to remove all the citizens in the Land of Taroc immediately to the safe shelter built in the Land of Taroc. Unseen under her spell when the battle began, she felt it intuitively that it was going to happen based on what Spirit shared. The dark forces were destroying all the other lands around the Land of Taroc, but paled in comparison that the messenger owls reported from other soul families. It was time to put all our plans in action, but there was one thing Lady Ashley knew she had to do, that she had the ability to do: call in reinforcements. Lady Ashley knew that if she could call on anyone, she could call on Archangel Michael for help and support during this dark time for answers. He appeared to her in the mirror of truth, and she cried to him,
Archangel, we need your help. All the lands have become corroded with dark forces beyond our control, including my very own.
My family and I have put together a plan to try to avoid a battle, but also prepared for one in case a peaceful resolution could not be had. Please step in if you can.
I will consider it.
He replied.
I will do what I can, or what Spirit will allow me to do. I'll be there with you for sure in spirit, because you are from my army, but you have this. I have seen you fight, and you were the last soul standing, not only for what was right, but you have great strength.
After having this talk with Archangel Michael, she moved with great determination, and she knew that she could face anything. And she had a whole family behind her. There was a rumor that different groups of soul families were traveling their way to the Land of Taroc to wreak havoc. And the messenger owl confirmed it. It was time to put our plan in action. Didn't appear from the way they were charging towards them, but this would be peaceful. Lady Ashley replied,
We are not going down without a fight.
Other soul families had reached our land, but they didn't get very far. There were traps all over town that Uranus built with his brothers, and some of those traps you could and couldn't see with the human eye until you walked in. For some, it ended before it started, especially in the Town of Swords. Lady Ashley safely transported all the elderly citizens and small children with her spell, placing them somewhere safe during this battle. At every turn, the other soul families tried invading the Land of Taroc, but their attempts were blocked. A real fight took several hours to even a month, because there were so many illusions casted by Soul Family 6 to protect not only the people in the land, but the land itself. The other soul families were tiring, which was the plan anyway, to have them tire out. They were surprised by our attacks and what we were able to do, and underestimated our strategies. They were beginning to doubt their own abilities because they wanted to be the best, and even began fighting each other. The fight was getting out of hand, so Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine stepped in and asked,
Can a resolution be made to end this?
Why did this petty fight start in the first place?
Aries and Sag brought up the force of darkness and the true cause of this fight.
We come in peace and want what's best for our land.
The true cause of this fight was from invisible dark forces invading our lands, causing major disruptions all over.
And when we asked you all to join us in alliance to go up against this invisible force, it wasn't a threat to you all because it was not visible. The true focus was lost.
Let's end this and unite as we once were, without all the fighting and ego standing in the way, and keep darkness out of our lands.
They all agreed, and all decided to help with efforts of restoring each other's land with balance and harmony once again. The battle was over, but the real one has yet to begin. After all the cleanup efforts for each land, that took a while to rebuild, but had peace of mind afterwards, helped us to finally rest and enjoy our homes again without feeling like something could happen at any moment. Things could happen in any moment, but just for a moment. We wanted to rest our minds and bodies from so much stress that had consumed almost everyone in the land for the last weeks and months. Lord Germaine ordered more rest for Aries because he sustained the most injuries from the battle.
Son, I know you want to get back to your duties, but I think you should take proper rest and allow your body to heal properly. I can take over for a while.
Dad, I'm listening. Trust me, SAG has already let me know that she can take on more responsibilities, and I'm glad you offered to take over some of my duties.
No problem, son.
Taurus, Uranus, Pluto, and Leo suffered injuries as well, but small in comparison to Aries. Most of the cleanup efforts came from the citizens in town, and the people that fought on the front lines were ordered by Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley to rest properly and not overload with work right away because they may need their strength sooner than they know. The Star family and Hermit family decided to go and rest where they previously rested during the testing of the water for poisoning. To be sure, no one lifted a finger and got proper rest without worry. Sad was really concerned about Aries' health, and she asked if Lady Ashley and her mom, Lady Kayla, could help.
Do you mind giving Aries an extra boost of your healing energy? You don't even have to ask. I'm already on it.
I really want Aries at his full strength again.
You don't have to worry, honey. We're on it.
They did the healing work, but they also had an alternate plan for their family, and it was for their protection, and no citizen from the Land of Taroc can ever learn of this plan. The Star and Hermit family were asked to stay a little longer in the outer part of the Land of Taroc.
You can return home once a messenger alerts you all. This is for the protection of your family. There will be a battle, but not one your children are completely ready for.
They all agreed.
The messenger owl that would come would be one you've never seen before, and it would be able to speak fully in your language for you all to understand. And if one was to come and it didn't speak, it would be an imposter.
The family agreed to stay behind, but deep down, they all knew that the next fight to be fought would be one they may not be able to survive, at least for their human children.
There was finally peace to all the lands. The soul families as a group decided that they no longer wanted to live in such a divided land by soul families. The deal was, if anyone wanted to live in any land, they could, and we happily agreed that if soul families wanted to move and live outside of their soul family's land, they could if they so desired. It was time for us to grow and evolve and also learn from each other and learn different skill sets to become better as humans. There was peace to the lands a long while before darkness began to sneak back in. The Star and Hermit family returned, the entire family, to the Land of Taroc in full strength, ready to fulfill their duties in the role they were given in the town they lived. When they all returned, the peace was felt, but deep down, no one was comfortable knowing that darkness was still among them. Everyone could feel it, even the animals and small pages. The Emperor and Empress decided that everyone could use some fun, so they decided to plan a huge gathering and included all the other nations if they wanted to participate in some fun, food and games in town to lighten the mood and give everyone hope again that their homes were safe. All the other soul families agreed that this would be good for morale, and they planned a full week of fun all day for 5 days. And everyone enjoyed themselves and agreed it's something they should have again.
This time was much needed. I'm glad we did it.
I hope to do all this again really soon, my brother.
They all came to each other's towns and enjoyed each activity of games and fun the way they do it in their town. They helped other lands try new things as well. Lady Ashley, Lord Germaine, Lord Gary, and Lady Kayla can sense Lucifer and Lilith and dark forces nearing. And it's likely because they were former classmates together in Land of Sacred Hearts. Lucifer and Lilith had fallen from grace. Lady Ashley can only sense things intuitively, but the rest of them know for certain who and what it is, because their energetic vibrations and status in the Land of Sacred Hearts was much higher in ranking, but nevertheless their presence was sensed by all of them, including Lady Ashley. Lady Ashley was beginning to remember remnants of her life as Ariel from sensing their presence. Her powers were increasing, not that she wasn't a force already, but her intuition had been heightened. Chloe had come to her in a dream, a former classmate, to help her on this part of her journey. Chloe knew what she was about to encounter. All of them, to be exact, would encounter more than they've already seen. She warned Lady Ashley and said,
"You and your family are heavily protected."
In that same dream, Priest Most High and Archangel Michael promoted her for her bravery with the next level of wings for her soul. She mastered the hardest part of this journey. Lady Ashley awakened, looked over at Lord Germaine and smiled. She got up and looked out into the world and she said,
Lilith, I know you are out there. And when our paths cross, there will be a debt to pay for all the destruction you caused my family, you and Lucifer both.
As she said it, Lucifer and Lilith both heard it and were in awe that her abilities were strong enough to sense them in the dense land they were in. But her vibrations were increased even higher than her former classmates due to what was yet to come.
In the middle of the night, there was a silent attack, the kind no one saw coming, into the town of Coins. It was a lot of bickering and going back and forth over things the people in town would not usually get upset about. This is why it was considered silent. No one expected a fight to break out, especially after the fight we had with other soul families. Taurus, the king, came out to see what the commotion was about because it was happening near their home. He would usually send a night out to patrol the area, but it was unusually late and near his window. The minute he walked out, the two fighting grabbed him and took him away in a chariot, out of the town of Coins, to hold him hostage and take over the land.
Who is this? And why have they captured me? And would anyone know where to look for me?
April, his wife, noticed he was gone longer than usual and began to look for him. When she discovered he was missing, she contacted the Emperor and the Empress, Aries, and Sag, alerting them to go out and search for him. Aries said,
"It may be an ambush to reach others in power and leadership by going out this late to look for him. It will be best to look during daylight and put a plan together then."
Fine, but I want my husband to be found immediately. Be careful finding him. I don't want anyone else getting hurt because we don't know what we are truly up against.
Daylight has finally arrived, and Leo decided they should put together a plan in the town of fire. The Emperor, Aries, King Leo, King Pluto, and King Uranus all met with the knights in each town to go on a manhunt for King Taurus. They wanted to try to get things done and taken care of without alerting their parents, Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley, but nothing gets past them. While they were holding their meeting in a town to be secretive, Lady Ashley already had two messenger owls in on their conversation, listening to their plan, and she could already sense who was behind Taurus being taken. Lady Ashley had a dream prior to any attacks made about dark forces wanting to destroy what her and her family built, so she took protective measures into her own hands for her entire family. She knows wherever Taurus is, he's untraceable. She had Uranus design a device to be able to find any of them anywhere at any time that she could sense. She could not sense him. Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine are heading to the meeting right away to warn their sons to allow them to find King Taurus.
They are treading into dangerous territories, and they don't know what they are up against. We must hurry.
But before Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine could reach their sons, dark forces came out of nowhere and attacked the town of fire. Lady Ashley was close enough to them to throw a tracking device on one of the dark forces to lead them to where they were heading and sent a messenger owl to follow and report back. Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley loved their sons, and at any point could have defeated the dark forces, but they wanted to find King Taurus and King Leo, so they allowed Leo to be taken to get both their sons back. Since there were cleanup efforts in the town of fire, there was too much damage from that attack for people to stay there, so a lot of citizens slept in the other towns that had available space until their homes were rebuilt. The town of Cups was the neighboring town, and so many citizens, including the king, Pluto, and Queen June, were overwhelmed with fear and out of answers to keep the citizens safe, because those attacks in each town prior were back-to-back. Lord Germaine and Ashley decided to build a shelter with the help of all the citizens that were able-bodied. In another part of the Land of Taroc, hidden and protected with Lady Ashley's and Lord Germaine's magic to protect everyone that were either too old or too young to fight, and those with no training yet in the battlefield to live there temporarily until a solution could be made to stop the chaos from happening again in the Land of Taroc. Violence was at an all-time high, and King Pluto and King Uranus, along with Aries, decided to prepare for battle. Pluto and Uranus were still mildly injured from the last battle, but Aries was in no shape to fight a battle as serious as the one they are about to encounter. The Land of Taroc became quiet, a little too quiet. The knights and pages should have been preparing for a battle at any time, but for some reason, everyone appeared to be resting, or appearing as if they could not keep their eyes open. Lord Germaine said,
Everyone, please refrain from using water in any form until we can get everything tested. There has been some sort of contamination with our water supply, and we want you all to stay safe.
Liquid in any form was off limits. The attack this time was a silent one, causing everyone that drank or touched the water in the town of Cups to have difficulty performing daily activities. Everyone that could not perform was taken to the hidden shelter at once to seek care and healing. Everyone that was affected by the water or liquids in any form slept for days. Whatever dark forces that was among them was coming back to where everyone in the Land of Taroc had to seek refuge in other places in the land. The entire town of Cups were asleep, including the king and queen. Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley had to regroup and wait on a message from the messenger owl before planning a move. They still needed to find King Taurus and Leo. It always seems to be an act of dark forces anytime they try to group together a plan, and it always seems to involve their sons. King Uranus and Emperor Aries are the only ones actively present to help, but at this point, this battle is bigger than them, and Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley ask them to
stay out of this one and protect the families at the shelter.
While they find out what's really going on, there were people asleep and wasn't waking anytime soon, and now they needed to know why and how they could help them regain consciousness. Everything was still unexplainable. While things were quiet at the shelter, things were also quiet where Leo and Taurus were. They were together with no clue to why they were being held captive in a place where they were free to walk and roam, but with no way out. No exit or sign of entry. The messenger owl finally reached where they were, but was puzzled to how anyone would get in or out where they were. The messenger owl could sense both of their energies, but had no way to see them or get in where they were. The messenger owl is now heading back to report its findings, and while that is happening, Leo and Taurus try to think like their brother, Uranus, and find their way out.
What do you think Uranus would do in a situation like this? Create something out of nothing, I guess. Our powers are useless here.
Lord Germaine decided to investigate these attacks in other areas to see if their families and lands were being targeted or if this was happening all over. He disguised himself as a citizen. Lady Ashley made him appear differently and changed it where he could not be sensed by darkness before he gets where he is going. He was prepared to be gone a while with plenty of fresh fruit and food vitamins for vitality as he traveled. He didn't pack water with him because some parts of it was unsafe and they haven't had time to undo what's been done to tarnish it before he left out. So he will get some on the way in another town and test it with what Uranus made to show, whether it was safe or unsafe to drink or touch. Uranus built that, especially for his dad for his travels, but built something much bigger for the town so that they could get back to how they lived before. Everything was moving forward slowly, but with optimism. Lady Ashley kissed Lord Germaine on his way out and said,
I love you. Be safe and I will be able to see everything you see with the tracker you have on you.
And I will be able to see whatever you see.
He kissed her back and was on his way. As he was on his way, he ran into the messenger owl. The owl recognized Lady Ashley's cloak and stopped Lord Germaine to convey a message of where their sons were. And Lady Ashley translated it to Lord Germaine, and he followed the owl. He moved in quietly, investigated the area and how to get in and how to get out. Once Lord Germaine was able to sense his son, he asked Lady Ashley to
I have our sons. Teleport us all back.
And so, she did. Once she was able to sense them all, she was able to bring them all back safely and quietly to the hidden shelter for the townspeople. Because Lord Germaine did not spend much time investigating before finding his sons, he decided to go back out and do more investigating to get the truth of what was happening and to help Land of Taroc thrive again. Lady Ashley lent her support again because this was nothing like what they had truly encountered and they are unable to see the true enemy. So they combined their powers to trace down the real root of the problem and how it could be resolved. He disguised himself yet again. He discovered that what other soul families were experiencing was mild in comparison to what was happening in the Land of Taroc. But as he looked closer to the behavior of a few of the other soul families, the citizens appeared to be motionless and unaware of their surroundings. Lord Germaine tested his theory by asking questions to a few of the citizens, and his theory was right. But there was one in Soul Family 5's town that was playing along to fit in until he noticed Lord Germaine, and they both discovered each other. Paul noticed Lord Germaine wasn't behaving like the other citizens, and he pulled him in and explained to him what he suspected was going on. It threw Lord Germaine off slightly, but nevertheless, he was happy to see at least one person that appeared to be in awareness, but he was also suspicious, and so was Lady Ashley. She could feel and sense everything that was happening, and they were also connecting telepathically, and any suspicion he had, Lady Ashley's intuition was heightened. Lady Ashley and Lord Germaine are highly sensitive when it comes to their senses, but when they are linked together, they become even stronger. And they both sense the same thing, and their powers are heightened. They both realized that you had to be of strong forces to sense or recognize them in the midst of them being undercover. And they realized the person they were speaking to was either like them or working with dark forces. Lady Ashley was miles away but could still sense the presence of danger and warned Lord Germaine that
it's likely you are speaking with Lucifer, so proceed with caution.
Lord Germaine was already on it and suspected it, so he asked indirect questions to see if he could get answers without Lucifer, disguised as Paul, realizing who he really was. It was clear to Lord Germaine that no ordinary man would be able to master the strength of a high-level being or dark entity without being one himself. Paul gave the story that
I had been traveling and just returned home to see that everyone in town appeared distant and unaware of their surroundings and noticed you to be in the same state of mind as me.
Which is true, but then Lord Germaine decides to ask,
what led to your travel and how long had it been since you left and returned?
Paul replied,
I left a few days ago to deliver a message for help from other nations from our king in my town because food supply was getting low and a lot of people were moving into other lands due to the shortage.
Lord Germaine then asked again the same question 2 or 3 more times before he realized he may have been in some sort of time loop. Lucifer, disguised as Paul, was trying to draw Lord Germaine in a trap, but Lady Ashley recognized the trap and teleported him back to the Land of Taroc, and not to the safe house because she wasn't sure if it was safe yet for him to return where everyone was. It may jeopardize their safety, so he put on his armor of protection along with Lady Ashley's white spell and laid low. Everyone that had fallen into a deep slumber was finally awakening. No one remembers a thing, but they all said it was the best sleep they ever had. They had not been able to rest properly since silent attacks started happening all over the Land of Taroc. Everyone had become paranoid and suspicious of everything and everyone, and for a brief moment had peace of mind. Empress Sag and Emperor Aries wanted them to remain in a peace of mind and informed everyone that
we are giving it every effort to ensure everyone is comfortable, and we hope to give you all peace of mind.
And that you have everything you need for safety and protection through this land.
Lady Ashley and Lady Kayla noticed that not only did everyone waken where they were, but everywhere else where people seemed to be unaware of their environment had awakened as well. They weren't sure if it was from their efforts, or if there was a spell broken, or if there was something more to come. Either way, they are preparing for the unexpected. Uranus and Venus have been working day and night to build something strong enough to defeat our enemies. With every sword built, Lady Ashley, Lady Kayla, Lord Germaine, and Lord Gary gave power to it to create a weapon of mass destruction for dark forces. Only those of godlike powers could defeat or go up against something they can't see or touch, but sense and energy. There was an attack on the Town of Swords, but this attack was intentional. Everything was destroyed, including all the weapons that were created for war. This is when Lady Ashley realized that this was personal and their every move was being watched. Once she realized they were being watched, she began building a trap to cause illusions to her enemies about what was really happening to buy some time and throw the enemy off their trail. She sent every messenger in the sky to every town nearby to round up all the resources they had to build a weapon or weapons to defeat their enemy. Lady Ashley realized that the dark forces either was caught in the illusion, or they knew she would be able to hear them even if it was an illusion. Lilith whispered in Lady Ashley's ear that
we will find you and destroy you and your whole family once we discover where you really are.
Lady Ashley doesn't play about her family, so Lady Ashley and Lady Kayla united their powers, along with Lord Germaine and Lord Gary, to teleport everyone to a safe place without being tracked so that they could buy time to defeat Lucifer and Lilith. Lucifer and Lilith's gifts were as strong as their own, so they needed to call in higher forces and move all the citizens as far away from Land of Taroc as possible. Everyone from other towns brought in everything they had to spare to help aid in the battle. This would be even bigger than the one they once had, but was able to end peacefully.
Everyone from other towns brought in everything they had to spare to help aid in this war. This would be even bigger than the one they once had, but was able to end peacefully. This is the time when everyone came together more than before to do what is right for the greater good. Almost every sword Uranus and Venus made for other towns and lands were donated back to them for this spiritual war. It gave everyone great joy to see all the soul families come together again and join forces even under these circumstances. It made everyone that could not truly be on the front lines come together and play a role in some way, even if it was in a small way. While everyone was working together, Lady Ashley received a message from Spirit in her wakened state, which usually comes in her sleep, but this message was important. Spirit replied,
"You've done well, my child, and you have gone above and beyond what I expected, and now you shall receive your rewards.
I will restore your full memory of who you once were before becoming human and promote you to an archangel, Ariel. You deserve it, and I will also give you full access to Black Stag.
Lady Ashley cried when she remembered everything about her life before becoming human, but it was tears of joy because she finally got her wings, and it took becoming human to achieve it, which was even harder to accomplish in human form.
I happily accept Spirit. Thank you.
Spirit also said,
There is another surprise for you, but you will see that on the battlefield soon enough. I love you, my child.
Lady Ashley returns back to everyone and she asks Aries, Sag, Taurus, April, Leo, August, June, Pluto, Uranus and Venus to lead everyone to the safe house area on the outside of the Land of Taroc, where they will all be safe during the war. All the weapons have been made, and now the Guardians need to go somewhere safe because they have all been targeted from Lucifer and Lilith. Lady Ashley, Lady Kayla, Lord Germaine, and Lord Gary knew what kind of damage can be caused by Lucifer and Lilith that are known for destroying their original homeland, or was a part of that destruction. They all knew this battle wasn't going to be easy, and is the reason they all wanted their children and townspeople safe and far away as possible as this battle began. Their children all agreed to lead everyone out, and as they were leading everyone to safety, Archangel Michael appears and says,
It's time. Do you all remember the formation?
I do remember, and I can never forget.
Emperor Aries looked back and witnessed something he had never seen before and became curious, just as his parents did as toddlers. He followed them out into the battlefield and watched his parents and in-laws transform into their angel forms. He was blown away and impressed. At the same time, before the battle began, everyone looked around and noticed Ariel's wings was bigger than all of theirs and how powerful she had become. Everyone noticed her increase in power, and now they know where it came from. Her new promotion. When Ariel looked to her right, she saw Chloe, another classmate of theirs that stayed behind to get her wings. And she got them, though they weren't as big as Ariel's. She received them. All of the invisible cages were in place, and everyone had swords that were blessed with power to suck up any dark forces. Lucifer and Lilith finally showed up, but still in a way of illusions because they knew that this battle wasn't to be easy. They too noticed that Ariel got promoted to a bigger set of wings. It's one of the highest accomplishments to have as an angel. The fighting had begun, and they all got information as if it never left them. And it didn't. As the fight began, Black Stag flew in and joined the fight. Ariel replied,
It's good to see you, old friend. I didn't think I would still have access to you after I received my wings.
You were the last one that needed my help. Everyone else went out on assignments. So I will be with you always, old friend.
Looked at each other and nodded, then continued to fight. Lucifer and Lilith continued with the illusion, and every dark force went into the swords, so that they could all be released to the underworld jail. Lucifer noticed Aries watching in the background and called out to Saint Germaine and Ariel.
I have your offspring. And now, I will have my revenge.
With the invisible cages and locked both Lucifer and Lilith in it, they didn't see it coming. Ariel and Saint Germaine wept for their son and returned to their human form as Archangel Michael took Lucifer and Lilith back to the underworld. They won the battle, but they lost the war when they lost their son. The victory against Lucifer and Lilith was short-lived for the Star family. Aries, in the end, became the hero because he was bait to draw out the enemy, but not by first choice. The whole land of Taroc was grieving the loss of a great leader, loving husband, and devoted son to his parents. The death of Aries was one no one expected because he was asked to lead everyone to safety, but yet no one sensed his presence was gone. All the planning to protect everyone and the leader gets killed caused a lot of citizens to lose hope. Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley asked,
Don't give up hope! Try your best to live your life as if Aries was still here. That is what he would want us all to do.
Lord Germaine asked the Land of Taroc to
give us time to grieve, and together we will rebuild the land again to what it once was.
Everyone agreed. Archangel Michael returned to check on the family and to give them an update on Lucifer and Lilith.
They will be charged for their crimes, and they will have to serve in the underworld for all of eternity.
Lord Germaine and Lady Ashley both felt their son's death was avenged in spiritual course, but nothing can replace a loss of a child.
Is it mating season? I believe they all may be expecting and maybe even at the same time.
Wow. I can't believe this.
I can use a favor.
What is it?
We were taken and captured and lured somehow from some not-so-good people.
Let's use their essence, or part of their essence, to send them back. It's possible we can capture who lured them in the first place.